Hi, I'm Jeff Clark Jr., and this is Art and Underdogs. Today, I'm joined by a talented actress, Nicole Ciuppa. I've had the pleasure of performing with Nicole in several productions in both film and on stage, including a short film we were in recently together called Career Day, written and directed by John Kerner. Here's a quick scene.
Good morning, class! What an exciting day it's going to be. Today is Career Day, and I want to welcome 3 of our classmates' parents who are here to talk about their careers. First, we have Abigail's mom, Mrs. York. Next, we have Peter's mom, Mrs. Page. And last, we have Carmine's dad, Mr. Ragu.
Hey,
Let's all give them a warm welcome. First, I'd like to call up Mrs. York, who is an ER nurse.
Excuse me, Ms.
Kelly.
Right, Miss Kelly. You mind if I go first? I kind of got to be someone a little bit very important.
Mrs. York, is that okay with you?
I guess so. I only have lives to save today, but you go ahead, Mr. Ragu.
Thank you, Ms. Nurse. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So that was a scene from Career Day.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell everyone about the film and your character?
Sure. So that was Career Day. It's a story about a school that's hosting a career day, and my character, Miss Kelly, is the teacher of the class who is running the show. There's some controlled chaos that happens with your character, Mr. Ragu, and Miss Kelly's just trying to get through it all. She's just trying to handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to lay the smack down a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
A little bit, just a little. I had a lot of fun on that set, though. I think the kids being there, it was electric. It was very good, very fun.
Yes. Definitely a different energy in there.
Yes.
With all the kids. Yeah. Youthful energy.
Absolutely. Such a fun day.
The director, John Kerner, who we know, really good writer. He's been on the podcast season 1, and he wrote that film. And when I read it, I was like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
And I've worked with kids once.
Okay.
Or I played a father. I have one daughter, but having like a whole classroom full of kids, that was just like another level.
It was. And I was really impressed with their commitment to everything, and they learned all their lines, and they were professional. It was really fun.
It's so true.
Yeah.
There are a couple in the back there talking about TikTok and like
a few
or something. And I was like, what's going on back there with that TikTok talk?
That's right. TikTok talk.
Showing my age.
Yeah. But yeah, I got the same. I saw the script, and I was reading it, and I was like, wow, these jokes are just like, they're not out there jokes, but the comedy of it is just really good. There was something really wholesome about it, I think, that I loved a lot.
And, we were in between takes. We were all kind of joking around and like riffing off each other. And
we were.
It was good. It was fun.
Absolutely. Fun. Yeah. Yeah.
So what did you do to prepare for that role? To play the teacher? For
Miss Kelly, I talked to my cousin a lot, actually, because she is a teacher for high school. But she's a new teacher, and she was just telling me just classroom dynamics, some stories. And yeah, I did that, and I kind of just leaned into the fun of it all, and I just said to myself, what was it like when I was in school? Just what were my teachers like, and what did I like about them and their energy? And that's really all I did. And then I just leaned into the fun on the day and just played, let things happen.
Yeah, you felt like a real teacher.
I did feel like a real teacher. I had the dress, I had my little lanyard.
Yeah. And I asked you, I was like, have you ever thought about being a teacher? That ever kind of crossed your mind at all?
Yeah, I actually have. And I thought it would be a very fulfilling career. I did really like school. So I was like, imagine having a whole life being in school and teaching and being around kids. And I did think about it, but obviously I went in a different direction.
Yeah. You did. You would have been a great teacher, though. You were good with the kids.
Thank you.
So, what's your typical way to prepare for a role? Like in general, do you have any like superstitious things you have to do, or like, how do you memorize? Just anything that comes to mind.
So I think with any role, the first thing I do is just try to understand the story of it all, which is probably standard, but that's the first thing. And then
Yeah.
I try to understand how my character fits into it. And then I just go to town with questions. I just write questions all over my script, anything that I can think of, and try to figure out who the person is. I mean, things that I like to do that are not script related, though, I sometimes like to journal in the mind of my character, if
Mm.
that fits, to try to get the heart and soul of them to come out a little.
Oh, that's new. Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't
try
heard of that
it.
one.
Oh,
That's
Jeff,
pretty
try
cool.
it. It's
All
really
right.
fun. And sometimes I'll make music playlists and just let that play while I read the scripts. Um,
I've
and
heard of that one. Yeah.
yeah, that one's
I have a couple of
helpful.
friends that do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a playlist for every character
Oh,
that they play.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do that. And
Nice.
sometimes too, if I know in the script the character has a specific like place they like to go or a hobby, I'll like try and go do that thing to get an idea of them and their
Mhm.
physicality. How do they move? And that usually helps build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been on stage twice actually for
Mm-hmm.
plays together. Um, that first play, No Place Like Home,
Mm-hmm.
when you had the pigtails and like
Oh
you had to
yeah.
play like a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
like that was really impressive actually.
Oh, thank you very
You're
much.
really good. Yeah, I heard a lot
Thanks.
of compliments about your role.
That
Yeah,
was that was a really fun one. I think the pigtails and the onesie and the hair clips, they really helped me get into character. Yeah.
the onesie. Yeah, that's right.
The
You were wearing a
onesie.
onesie.
God, it
Yeah,
was so
yeah.
hot in that onesie.
Was it?
Yeah. It was fleece.
Oh
So it
my
was warm.
gosh. Yeah, it was that stage, like the lights on you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it just makes it hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting role. You were very like playful and like a childlike. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was that dichotomy of being childlike because underneath she was never really able to be one. So
Yes.
it was interesting to kind of cover her life struggles with the mask of living in a child's mindset.
Did you create a playlist like for music for that one? Do you remember?
I don't think I did music for her. No, for
Yeah.
that one, it was more just how did she move, and I just really tried to think like a little kid, like a toddler. How would they? What's their energy? How would they talk and
Yeah.
move? And yeah.
What made you want to get into acting?
Hmm. So okay,
Hmm.
yeah. So to explain this, Jeff, I must go back to my very first time ever performing anything, which was
Okay.
I was about 5, and I remember we were down the shore, and my mom told me that I orchestrated a hula dance on the beach. I found a spot, I found my outfit, I knew the song I wanted, and I made them go to the beach on vacation at sunset, Diamond Beach, Cape May. And we had a concert of me hula dancing for the whole beach because that's what I wanted to do. And so throughout my life, I don't think I ever stopped performing. And I
That
think
was
it,
the
yeah,
pivotal moment.
that
Yeah.
was the catalyst. And it took on different forms, that performing aspect, I think. I spent a lot of my time in Taekwondo, and it doesn't seem like that would correlate to acting, but I performed there all the time. I would create choreography for forms, and I would compete on demonstration teams, and it was
Mm.
very fun. Same thing, I did cheerleading. It was all competitive performing, and then I got back to acting when the school plays came around. So I did a lot of school plays, loved them. Um, but what started my adult acting career, which isn't that long ago, it's almost 3 years. I remember one day I was very unfulfilled, and I was just, a lot of things were like kind of spiraling a little bit. And
Hmm.
I remember having this moment where I just broke down kind of sobbing, and I literally didn't know what to do because I felt like my life just like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
so I just felt like nothing was fulfilling. And so I just prayed about it. And I had this like download of this sudden, like, acting is the thing you've always wanted to do and never tried, like fully. And
Oh wow.
so I tried it, and I don't think I looked back since. So
Oh, good for
now,
you.
yeah, that's where we're
Yeah,
at.
that's great.
That's
Wow.
where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all get into those moments. I mean, where we're not sure what we're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
We're not sure if we're living our life to the fullest, and there's sometimes those dreams in the back of our heads that are like itching and clawing to get out.
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people just kind of push that down
Yeah.
because they don't believe in themselves. But I mean, it's good that you believed in yourself and you just like had the courage to say, "I'm just going to try it. Screw it,"
Yeah. You got to take a
So that's good.
chance, you know? You
Yeah.
got to try. So I'm happy
Yes.
I did. Yeah.
And it takes a lot of balls, for lack of a better term, to get out on stage or get in front of the camera because
Yeah.
it's not easy for everyone. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Right. Right.
But to learn the craft and to train and to be knowledgeable in acting and performing, it takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of work. It's
Yeah.
not easy. It's not the most difficult job.
No.
I was telling our acting teacher, we're not laying asphalt in the middle of August, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's mentally it's very challenging. So it's if it's calling to you though, you have to do it.
You
So
do.
that's
You do. And
so
like you're
props.
like thank you. Like you're saying too, you're right, and there is a certain courage that you have to put the vulnerable pieces of you out and into characters. But it's also cathartic. Like it's a twofold. It's just as rewarding, I think, as scary. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, people have a hard time putting their emotions out in normal life.
Yes.
Whereas, I mean, we're performing in front of tons of people,
To be judged and all other
Yeah,
things. So yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. You're right.
So you're right. You're right too. It's a very vulnerable thing, to be an artist and actor.
Yeah.
So I have a question. With Career Day, it was, like a playful, fun set. It's a comedy with kids in the classroom. They helped.
Mm-hmm.
Um, However, I've seen you in other films where you kind of went to some dark places, like Consequences, directed by Tony Carpinelli, and I know it's Ben Crane. I think that's what it's called, by
Mm-hmm.
directed by Josh Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get to those dark places?
So again, that differs a little bit for each one, but for those specifically, instrumental music that fit the vibe, to get me feeling certain things as I was reading the script, memorizing lines, figuring out who she was, um, my character, that is, and then truly just letting my imagination take over. Like, just let it run without judgment, because sometimes I find if you're in a movie that has really dark elements to it and you let your imagination go there, it's almost too scary. But I think
Mhm.
I just have to like let myself have the permission to go there, and
Yeah,
then when it's done, just okay, we released it now, like it's out there, and I can get rid of those thoughts now. So it's just I let my imagination kind of take over for those, and just try to imagine like
yeah,
all the senses really just get in there, what it would feel like to be in these horrible, unfortunately, situations. Yeah.
yeah. Do you use any techniques at all? Like, have you studied any techniques?
So I actually haven't been to formal acting school. So I do read books on like Meisner and other things, but I think you're gonna pull the book I have too.
You
Let's
mean
see.
this book?
That is the book. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
So sometimes I apply those things for sure. It just, again, I guess it kind of depends on the script and how it fits. Yeah.
Actually, a lot of what you were talking about and explaining, it's very Meisner. Living
Yep.
truthfully under imaginary circumstances.
Yes.
Um, Acting is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know the technique, but emotional preparation, like you said, you use like
Mm-hmm.
instrumentals to help you get there.
Yes.
And in Meisner training, you learn to use emotional preparation. Some people use music to go out to the hallway before a
Mm-hmm.
scene, and then they come in
Mm-hmm.
to the scene um, from listening to that music and getting to that dark place or getting to whatever place
Mm-hmm.
you need to get emotionally. But yeah, it's very Meisner. You're
Meisner.
yeah,
We love
yeah,
Meisner.
yeah.
Yeah.
um, so I saw some recent images of you on social media where you're on film set
Mm-hmm.
and you were laying down in an actual coffin.
I was.
Please expound.
Right. So with this one, it's for an upcoming horror film that should be out in October 2025. And my character had
Hmm.
previously been killed, so that me laying in the coffin was a scene that's part of a haunting. And I won't give much more away than that, but it is part of a haunting, so that's why I'm lying in one. It was very narrow. And I'm a little
Yeah.
person, but it was very narrow,
And it
shoulder
was
to
still
shoulder.
small?
Oh, it was
Yeah.
still small. Shoulder to shoulder, just about my height, which is 5 foot. And then the cloth was like touching my nose as it was shut. It was very tight in
Mm,
there. It was.
yeah.
Uh, I
Are you
definitely.
claustrophobic at
So,
all?
not usually. I mean, I, yeah, it depends on the situation. I think I can be for sure. But with that, I just knew it was a very safe set. And I just knew the
Yeah.
coffin I could press open if I had to. So I did panic for a second, but then I said, no, no, it's fine. You can get out. It's
Yeah.
okay. And that's it. So
Pull it back.
pull it back. Pull it back. Yeah. It was a
That's
time.
cool. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you can check that off your bucket list, right? Laid in the
I
coffin first.
That is like
I seen.
something I did not think I would check off my 2025 bingo card, but here we are. Yeah.
It's too funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. You said October of this year?
October. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any other films coming out soon? Anything we can look forward to?
I've been grateful. I've been cast in 2 upcoming films. One is actually yours, Jeff. And
That's right. I forgot about
it is yours.
that.
And the other one is a slasher film, also by Tony Carpinelli. So that one's going to
Okay.
be a fun time. There's a lot of people I know on that set, so it should be something. It should be fun. It should be good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And one more, right? One
Mhm.
more. I do remember. There is a film called Flowers.
Yes. I didn't
coming
know if I
out.
could mention that, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, it's called Flowers, right? That's all. That's all I have to say.
That's all we need to say.
Flowers.
Flowers.
Yeah,
Mysterious.
that'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Let's move on to the underdog segment of Art and Underdogs, and start with a simple question: where did you grow up?
I grew up in northern Jersey. I'm an only child, and I grew up with my mom and dad. But when I hear the question, where did you grow up? I always think, what places did you kind of thrive in and change you as a kid? And those would be my grandma's house in the summer with my cousins, just exploring and being silly and making our own fun. And I was still the generation that didn't have social media growing up. So I'm
Mm,
really grateful for that, actually. And
yeah,
yeah, second would probably be Taekwondo. Like I said, I started when I was 4. So
that's
I
crazy.
spent, yeah, all of my formative years were there. And I would be there like 6 days a week, probably at minimum, 6 to 7. And I just loved it so much. So there, uh, yeah.
So who got you into Taekwondo at that early of an age?
So I tried ballet for a hot minute, didn't love it. And I ended up like wrestling on the floor and things. So my mom was like, this doesn't fit. And driving home one day, I was with my dad and we passed a place called US Martial Arts and I didn't know what that was and I asked. And my dad said, "Oh, it's a place where you learn Taekwondo, like how to defend yourself." And I said, "Oh, could I try it?" And he said, "Sure." So
Wow,
we just tried it and I fell in love and yeah, I never kind of stopped doing that. So, yeah.
that's cool. Since you're 4 years old, so you could probably whoop my ass, huh?
I mean, Jeff, I would hope I would never have to.
Do you do jujitsu or anything like that?
Okay, so
Just Taekwondo?
I did Taekwondo from 4 until I was until about 2020 when because that was COVID and my school they closed and never reopened, unfortunately.
Mm,
So I've had to find something else to do because that's what I know to do. So I missed it.
yeah.
So I dabbled in Krav Maga a little bit and that didn't quite fit. Do you know what that is? You made a
Yeah,
face.
that's like
Okay, okay.
Israeli
Street fighting, yeah.
handy. Yeah, yeah.
hmm And so that didn't quite fit. And then I tried kickboxing and boxing. That wasn't quite enough of the martial art that I craved. So I landed in MMA, and that's where I am now. I'm doing
Wow.
MMA with a trainer and uh, some kickboxing here and there when I want a good workout, but mostly MMA. Yeah,
Oh, that's impressive. Well,
yeah.
maybe a role will pop up where you get to like choke somebody out, you know?
That would be really cool. I would love to. I would love to use my MMA one day in the art of acting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You'll know exactly what you're doing. So
I
that's
yeah.
that. Yeah. So some of the fondest memories of you growing up? You said it was at your grandmother's.
Yeah. At my grandma's house, in the summers especially, we would just literally spend the entire summer there, me and my cousins, finding silly games to play and getting into all kinds of mischief. And my poor grandma, she was blind and she didn't even know half the stuff we got up to. But
Oh wow.
yeah, it was a fun time though. I really cherish those memories. It's
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I think back onto when I was young and we actually, our mom Clark's house was like the place to be.
Yeah.
We would go there for Christmas Eve and we would all open presents, all the cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, Easter egg hunts in her backyard. And then in the summertime, she had a pool. So we would
Okay.
all go over there and go swimming. And yeah, good
Nice.
memories, good memories.
Yeah,
That's cool.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I definitely, again, I cherish those. Like my grandpa had a garden, he had a cherry tree, and so he taught us how to garden, which, instilled
Nice.
this kind of, I don't know, like a work ethic, but also like a where does food come from kind of situation. It was,
Mm.
yeah, I have a lot of fun memories there.
Ooh, we're gonna get to the food,
We are.
um, because I know you're into food for sure.
I am
So what were you like in high school?
very shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very shy and very quiet, which is way different from what I was as a child. Some switch happened somewhere. I couldn't tell you how, but I just really stuck to studying and being a good student, and I found it very difficult to make friends and fit into friend groups. So I didn't have many friends in high school because I think most of my social interaction happened at Taekwondo because at that point I was in competitive teams. So I didn't
Oh,
do a school sport and I didn't do anything. My life was outside of school. So I found it very
I see.
difficult to make friends there. But I mean, I was nice to everybody, just I never really fit anywhere.
Yeah.
So so that was a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What type of jobs did you have growing up?
My first job was, I believe, at 16, and I had a job at Delia's in the mall. It was a clothing store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like a
Never heard of
young
that.
teenage girl clothing store.
Okay.
And I just remember endlessly folding the wall of jeans. And people would come by and
It was
mess it
like a
up.
Forever 21 or
A little
whatever.
bit. A little
Okay.
bit. Yeah.
That's the only one I know.
Yeah, a little bit. And it was so I was always folding, and then I hated doing returns because the computer system confused me. So like holiday time was just a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in art school, I worked for. It used to be called Structure. Do you remember that?
No.
It turned into Express. Um,
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. So back in the day, I was in art school in Philadelphia, and across the street was Structure in like this, Liberty Towers or whatever it's called. And then they transitioned to Express. So I'm very familiar with like folding jeans and shirts and clothes and all that crap.
Yeah. It's a time. And dressing rooms and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
It
how
served
much
me
fun!
well. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the jobs you have when you're young, right? When
It
you're
is.
just starting out,
It
and they
is.
teach you a lot. They do teach you a lot.
They do.
So what else? Any other jobs? Any other fun jobs?
So I started there and then I really went straight into, I was there until I really went to college and then I did I actually worked at my rec center at school. And so I was part of their marketing team, which was really fun. And I worked there for 4.5 years. And then at the same time, I had a second job in ShopRite actually with a dietitian. So
Mm,
for 4.5 years, I did both of those things. And I liked them both. So
good segue.
yeah.
So you have a master's degree in human
Hmm.
nutrition, right?
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit about where you went to college, what it was like, and why you decided on that major?
Sure. So I do have my master's. So I went to, first of all, I decided to do nutrition junior year, like end of junior year in high school. Because at that point, they
Okay.
sent papers home and they were like, you've got to pick something to try in college. So I was like, okay, what am I interested in? And I didn't really know like dietitians existed at that point because I never went to one or anything like that. But I was really fascinated in the idea that you could change your well-being status, change your body and feel stronger, change your sports performance,
Mm.
endurance, all through just switching the food that you eat. And so I said, wow, if food has this much power to make people feel good, like, what is this all about? And so that's really what started me just looking up stuff about it and figuring things out. And then I went to college. I went to Montclair State for my bachelor's in science. And then I
Gotcha.
also went to University of Houston for my master's. So,
Oh wow.
yeah,
University of Houston. Did you have to go to Texas? That's Texas, right?
Texas.
Okay.
I would have loved to go to Texas, but it was COVID year when I got my master's, so they weren't letting anyone
Oh,
fly.
stupid COVID.
I know, I know. So
Yeah.
I did it
Well, at least yeah,
online,
made it
and
easier.
yeah, it did.
Less than traveling. Yeah.
It did. Lots of paper writing, lots of reading that year. Yeah.
Human nutrition.
Hmm.
What? That's It's just like food and
Yeah.
what. I mean, I don't know
Okay.
too much about it, so
So
please explain to me,
okay,
educate me.
right. So dietitians do a bunch of different things, right? You could work in hospitals, you can work in like a WIC community center, you can work your own private practice. There's a lot of sports nutrition, there's a lot of different branches. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yes, so with human nutrition, it's really just that big umbrella term for all of that.
Oh, okay.
So,
Got you.
yeah, so
So
depending,
you could potentially work for a hospital or work for a sports um because it's just an umbrella for
correct.
all that stuff.
Yes.
Okay, got
Yes.
you.
So it's just again, it's just for humans. So it's like really that umbrella term. I know. I I worked at nursing homes before, hospitals. I've actually done my own counseling services through a business I had on the side, and community stuff through ShopRite I've done as well. So I've kind of gotten a taste of all of it, and it's fascinating how first of all how little people know. So it's really exciting to share what you know with them.
I know nothing about
Really,
this.
Jeff?
It's very interesting. I know.
It's
I,
fascinating.
I eat cold cuts for lunch,
Yeah.
pickle, chips.
Okay.
I need to switch it
Hey,
up. I need to eat a little bit better.
you know what? You've got a protein, a vegetable, to carb. It's at least
Yeah.
balanced.
Thanks for justifying it. But
Anytime.
yeah, too
But
funny.
it's a fun. I did really like my major. At the
Yeah.
same time, it's funny when I was on campus at college. I remember I was in the math and sciencey section of things, and my head was there, but my heart was over on the other side of campus where the arts were happening.
Mm.
And so it was such a weird tug of war, and it sounds so dramatic, but I would walk to class every day passing people rehearsing outside, like
Ah.
busking, and and I just was like, oh, my soul wants to be
Yeah.
there, but practicality and like health insurance is calling me to math and science. It's horrible. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
No, I hear you.
It was crazy.
I totally hear you. So I always wanted to be an actor, and I went to, I was pretty good at drawing, so I was like, maybe I just use that as a backup. And even that's art. So people are like, get a real job, you should join the military, like,
Yeah.
get a real job, whatever. But I knew that acting was very difficult, and so I knew I needed like a backup, and so that was like the dream. But I totally get you. When I was animating these characters and drawing these characters and like acting it out and stuff, I was like, man, I want to be an actor. I don't know, I want
Yeah.
to do this forever. So I
Mhm.
totally get it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
human nutrition is extremely important, but I feel like it's something that's overlooked all the time,
All the
right?
time.
It's like
Yeah.
people just don't think about
Yeah.
that.
One thing that I've noticed, especially working in the clinical side of things for a little bit, people think of that last sometimes,
Yeah.
and it's so interesting because that just shows how much people really don't know like the benefits of changing things. Because you have someone
Guilty.
guilty, because you have someone, let's say, with, I don't know, pre-diabetes, let's say, and
Hmm.
and they're kind of like, well, medicine. And it's like, okay, medicine if
Right.
you need it, but did you try other things? Like, let's try changing diet. Let's try exercising more. Let's try. But, at the end of the day, of course, it could be that you just genetically or something, you need medication. But it's always something to think about, nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
As I get older, I think more and more about it, and I try to do, I try to eat right. I try to, do greens and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
you get sidetracked into your old bad ways
Hmm.
or bad habits.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in nutrition is not one size fits all. And
Mm,
I don't ever tell people not to eat food that they love. It's just how can we make the majority of things you eat foods that make you feel good and foods that are good for you health wise. But if I'm never going to be the dietitian who sits down and is like, you're not allowed to have ice cream after dinner ever, or you can't eat cookies at the party. Like, there's a way to do it.
yeah,
There's a way to do it. Yeah.
yeah. What foods are good? Like, okay, so fast food is all everyone says, oh, it's so bad for you, right? Is
Yeah.
there anything at these places that is like, okay, that's okay to eat? Like, you know how like Wendy's and McDonald's they have like salads and stuff. I mean, that's okay, right? You can have like a
Salad is
salad.
salad. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
If
don't know what they're putting in
I
my
mean,
salads over at Wendy's. You know what I mean?
if you're
Who
choosing to
knows?
eat, at a fast food place, yeah, you'd be smart about it. Like if you are
Yeah,
going for your, I don't know, like you're treating yourself because you haven't had it in a while, then just get your typical order and move on. But
yeah,
if that's what I would say. But if it's like a more regular weekly thing, then yeah, try to get a salad, maybe
yeah.
avoid the dressing and like take it home and put your own on. Because that's a hidden source of things. The dressing, they always get you. But
Mmm, that
or maybe
dressing is
get
so
like
good though.
chicken, the dressing.
The dressing's like the best part. Nicole,
I
come
know.
on.
I'm sorry. I know. I know.
What do you and you don't have to answer this question, but I'm curious what you feel about like RFK and what he's trying to do with all the food and making everything more healthy, and
I
what do
mean,
you think about his whole method and his way of thinking? Does that line up with the human nutrition and what you're doing?
yeah. So stuff like that's always important to keep up on. I think for me, I'm trying to not create too strong of an opinion at the moment. And that's not a cop out answer, I promise. It's just I
Yeah.
really don't know enough yet of what they're doing.
Yeah, it's still
It's
new.
in a
That's
weird
true.
gray area, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. That's
But
true.
from what I've heard, they're trying to do away with with the artificial colors,
Mhm.
which that is one thing that would be nice to get rid of because there are a lot of things in our country that are in our food system that's illegal in other countries for a reason.
True. True.
So if that's the case, then maybe that part won't be so bad.
Yeah.
So I think it's just really time will tell with what exactly he's trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife's family is from England,
Okay.
and they don't have a lot of the additives and, like you said,
Hmm.
the coloring in their food.
Hmm.
They're not even allowed to put that in their food,
No, it's illegal.
and I'm just like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Something
Like,
ain't right,
what are we
like,
doing over here? What's in our
yeah,
Fruit Loops? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Fruit Loops,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. Well, thank you for explaining all of that
You're welcome.
to
Anytime.
to to me, because I'm kind of dumb. I'm dumb when it
You're
comes to
not dumb. You
stuff like
just
that.
don't know.
Yeah, I focus too much on art. I need to focus more on human nutrition.
If you ever need help, you let me know. I got you.
I appreciate it. So listen, I'm motivated and inspired by people who overcome adversity, right?
Hmm.
I know a little bit about your story, but I'd love for you to share an underdog tale, or just a small story for everyone. Um, Maybe something in your life that you had to overcome. Odds are stacked against you, and you had to push through. And yeah, just tell us a little bit more about an underdog story you had.
Sure. I would say my underdog story is ever happening because so I was born with multiple food allergies to more than I am allergic to now, but now it's 8 foods. So I would say it's just a constant obstacle. And throughout every phase of my life, there have been different challenges associated with it. And even today, there are still things. It comes up in the acting world. It comes up in the
Mm,
workplace. It comes up in dating. It comes up in all these different places that you wouldn't think of. Um, so it's definitely something to manage. I can give you specific stories, but that's it's a constant. It's a constant.
what do you usually do to overcome you know, how do you get around the stuff that you can't eat? Like, and also, what are some of the things you can't have?
Sure. So I'm allergic to dairy, eggs, peanuts and tree nuts, sesame seed, poppy seed, mustard seed, lamb, and coconut. And usually when I tell people that, they are always like, "Oh, you're lactose." And I'm like, "No, I have an EpiPen. Like it's not
Mm,
good. One drop, done. Like it's not just light like that." So, I mean, as a kid, it came up in the form of kids would bully me for it. And I
hmm.
would always have to leave classrooms during snack time and lunchtime and sit separately and sit alone
Yeah,
by myself at camp, and it was a little bit isolating. And like I said, people were not very nice about it,
yeah,
but we get through it. And then as I got older, it started presenting issues when I would go and be at the workplace too. One story I can tell you is I remember it was my first job as a dietitian. I worked at a hospital, and I went in. It was literally my first, maybe second day I was there. I just met all my coworkers, and this one lady had a son who was deathly allergic to peanuts, and I was like, "Oh, we can relate because so am I." And it turns out her favorite work snack was just trail mix full of nuts, obviously, and every day for lunch she brought a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I said, "Okay, now, mind you, we're in an office. There is a cafeteria, there are other places to go and eat." But she
hmm,
insisted on eating these things in the office next to me. And I said, kindly, like, "Hey, can you just please not do that? Like, this isn't safe for me. You get it. Your son also has the same thing." Like, I couldn't understand why she was being so difficult with me.
oh wow,
But eventually, what ended up happening was she told me no, because this is her only place she's allowed to eat those things. And I said, "Okay, like I understand, but respectfully, like I am your son. Like I'm not understanding." I had to talk to my boss had to talk to her, and eventually she did stop and go to the cafeteria, but in the process, she no longer talked to me, and
yeah,
she
she
was
made it a
mean,
thing.
and she made it a thing.
Ugh,
So that's constantly a thing that happens depending
yeah,
on who you're around. Um,
jeez,
yeah,
that sucks. I'm sorry,
it
Nicole.
does.
Yeah,
It's
it's
okay. It's all
you.
right.
I mean, that must have made you much stronger mentally because you've been dealing with that since you were a kid, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I was diagnosed when I was 2, so it's a long time. But and then the thing is, it's very twofold. Like you do get people who, because the thing with food allergies, right, is I never want to sit here and say like feel bad for me because I have to do stuff differently.
no, no, but there's.
But
Go ahead.
oh, that's okay. At the same time, it's like there are certain things and certain steps that need to be taken if we're gonna like either work together or like kiss each other, whatever it is, like so that I'm safe, right? So there is
Yeah,
this like I don't want to be a problem, but like also, you know.
yeah,
So it's a thing.
yeah. A lot of people they lack kind of compassion
Yes,
for others,
that's a good word.
and they're kind of set in their ways, and there's like they just automatically a wall goes up, and they're just like, no, this is my way. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And it's very selfish.
yeah,
Um, because if you can be helpful and you can be compassionate, you can help avoid hurting
hmm,
someone, then you should do it. That's all.
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
just eating in the cafeteria is not a big deal.
right.
Like that's where you're supposed to eat food anyway. So what's I don't see the big deal about it.
Exactly. That's how I was thinking. But then, I've been really fortunate that there are a lot of people, though, who I'm around, a lot of the sets that I've been on, and a lot of genuinely people I've dated. Like, they really do care, and like friends. And a
Yeah.
lot of people always ask, like, "Hey, like, could I get you anything? Can I call special and do this for you?" And the truth of it is sometimes I always, like, I'm just like, no, like, thank you, but no, because I don't trust the people cooking.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't trust, let's say, you wanting to help me, but I don't trust that like the restaurant is going to
Where the
do it
food is
correctly.
coming
Yeah.
yeah, where the food is
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a
You
lot
don't
of
know.
trust issues with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of trust issues too, let me tell you.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with food allergies.
Okay,
So
cool.
you're
So
not
I'm not
alone.
alone. Love that.
No, you're not alone. got trust issues myself, right? No, no, but yeah, that must have been hard to like deal with that, like
Yeah.
especially as a kid,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And it's so it's so weird. It's so weird. When I was growing up, I didn't know anyone with a food allergy. No one.
Yep. Neither did I.
And it's so weird that like I feel like they're it's not weird. It's just like it's it's uh it's different that nowadays there's more and more kids, especially
Yeah.
like even at my daughter's school. Like
Hmm.
you have to be careful, and people have allergies and stuff. But yeah,
It's
I don't know.
it's amazing to me to see that. So I went to a Catholic school. It was very small,
Mhm.
and oh, by the way, a lot of people always ask me, "Do you like Catholic school? Do you not?" I loved Catholic school. I genuinely I loved Catholic school. I had a great experience, but
Nice.
they I just because people always say that they're like, "Oh, did you like
Yeah.
it there?" I'm like, yes. But such a small school, and I there was not one person in that 200 something building that had a food allergy except for me. And
Wow.
so and so some of the kids again took to that very odd, and they did bully me for it. They threatened me with peanut butter and other things, and that wasn't great.
Stupid kids.
And yeah, you know. And
Smack them.
then
Just smack them. Just
uh,
take out your taekwondo and whoop some ass. You know.
that's along the lines of what my dad would say.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
And then yeah, now it's amazing because there are there's schools who send home letters. They're like, okay, you have to have a safe snack, can't have anything with the top 8 in it for snack time. Like there's a lot of differences for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Mm.
definitely tough. It was definitely tough.
Yeah, I can't imagine like if my daughter had that. It would definitely be something we would have to work around a bit. We gotta be
Yeah,
careful. You gotta be careful.
yeah,
Did you ever have any scares when you were growing up, like
yeah,
going to the hospital or anything like
yeah.
that?
So the one that I remember the most, there's two. There's one when I was really little. It was in a controlled environment. The allergist did a skin test. I don't know if you know what that is. Do you know what
Yeah,
that is?
they like
Okay.
scrape you and
Yes.
scrape your skin. Yeah.
They scrape the allergen into your skin to see if you react to it. So
Mm-hmm.
my egg allergy came back really negative. So that means, okay, she could probably have it. So we did an oral challenge a couple weeks later, and I was watching The Little Mermaid, and I literally had the smallest piece of scrambled eggs on a fork, and within 2 minutes, my lips were like ballooned, like so big. They came in with a needle
Wow.
and like immediate. So that was a kid. But as an adult, during my, do you know a dietetic internship? Have you heard of this? Okay,
Nicole,
it's okay.
we've been through this. All right.
Oh,
I
it's
asked you
okay.
if a Wendy's salad was healthy to eat.
Right.
I have no clue
Okay.
about it.
Right. So
I'm relying on you. I'm relying on you. Please tell
a,
me.
a dietetic internship is supervised practice hours that you need before taking your RD exam for the state to get experience working with all different kinds of populations.
Okay.
So during my rotations, I was in a food service rotation, which meant I was at a nursing home and I was in the kitchen working and that type of thing. So I walked into the kitchen one day, and I always wear a mask in the kitchen because allergies, other things, you just never know. So, and you probably should anyway, just for health reasons, like health code. But I went into the kitchen, and before I could grab a mask, and this was all pre-COVID, so no one was used to masks. So I would grab a mask, and I went to go put it on, and before I could reach the masks, there was just like this cloud of like sweetness that hit me, and I was like, "What is this?" And I didn't think anything of it. And then I got my mask, put it on, and about 5 minutes later, I just felt so itchy, like my ears and my
Mm.
like throat, everything was just itchy. And I was like, why am I so itchy? And I was like, hey, I asked the cook, I think at the time, I was like, hey, like what was that powdered stuff? And they were like, oh, it was powdered pudding for the residents. And I was like, can I see the box? And it was obviously dairy filled because of course.
Yeah.
So I said, oh God. So I tried to I didn't want to cause a scene. So I just tried to like, it's fine. It's fine. A couple more minutes go by. I was getting more itchy. And I said, you know what? I got to go. So I left, went back to the office. I took some Benadryl. But the tricky thing with an anaphylactic reaction is sometimes you also panic on top of it. So if you're having a panic attack and an anaphylactic reaction, sometimes the lines get blurred for what's real and what's not happening to
Oh,
you. So thankfully, the reaction was stopped with the Benadryl. I called my doctor after. They said you probably were right. You didn't need the EpiPen, but I did go to the hospital after to get steroids just in case of a biphasic reaction, which happens sometimes later, a second time. But yeah, the panic was real for sure. I've had a few panic attacks over the years because of allergy reasons, but I
yeah.
remember, yeah,
It must
it's a
give you
lot.
some anxiety. It must give you anxiety
Yeah,
because you're always kind of like worried if something is gonna make you react.
you're on high alert.
It's yeah, high alert all the time.
Hmm.
And you're an actress, man.
Yeah,
You're a beast.
yeah.
You're a
Thank you.
beast. That's a lot of stress because
Sometimes.
being an actor is, it's a lot of work and like, you get like nerves on like stage and film,
Mm.
and then you got to worry about, your allergies, and I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot.
I mean, with sets, it comes up with if my character's eating or drinking.
That's true. That's true. I didn't even think of that. Yep.
Yeah. But like for example, what I just filmed with Joshua Nelson, some stuff we had to be at a dinner table and we were all eating salads and drinking wine, cranberry juice. And
Mm.
we worked around that by like my character was just too nervous to eat, so she just kind of picked around at her food.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we find creative ways to deal with it. And also like I love to cook, so I just anything that I need to eat or bring on set, I just make it myself and bring it. And I try not to put that burden on anybody in
Yeah.
production.
Like, what do you learn from all this? What do you take away from all this? You just be more compassionate, like try to help people, educate people to be more compassionate and understand.
Yeah, I think what I learned from me personally having all of the allergies and always going through these things and finding, I've learned to be really innovative in
Mm.
the way that I go about my life. And I really, from a young age, learned that if people are different, just let them be different. Like,
Yeah.
let them do their thing. Sometimes I'm the one sitting at the table fully comfortable not eating and everyone else is uncomfy because I'm not. Like, let me do my thing.
Yeah.
It's all good. Like, I'm comfortable. I'm fine. So let people be different, learning to be innovative, and honestly, sometimes just being scared and doing stuff anyway, because you can't let the anxiety of something potentially happening and the worry of something potentially happening to you like that prevent you from living life to the fullest in any way.
Yeah. I love that.
So even if if it takes an extra step or two for you to do something, find a way to adapt it so you can try,
Absolutely. I
And there
love
are
that.
people
Yeah.
who care. So just be kind, and people do care. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I care.
you care. Yeah.
And I could totally see why you went into that field,
Mm.
human nutrition. It just makes sense with, your life and, your experiences and what you have to go through. But you make it work. You're like one of the nicest people I've ever met. And
Thank you, Jeff.
you make it work, and like,
I do. I try.
yeah, you're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing, all those stories and your experience.
Of course.
Appreciate that. All right, so let's move on to something lighthearted and have a little
Yeah.
fun here. I'd like to move on to the quick questions game. The quick questions game is inspired by James Lipton from Inside the Actor Studio. It was a TV show on Bravo a long time ago, and I was a fan of that. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions, rapid fire questions. Just answer them as fast as you can. You can elaborate if you
Okay.
want, but let's just have fun with it.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right, here we go. They might sound a little weird, so just
That's
go
all
with
right. I'm ready.
it. All right, ready? We'll ease into it.
Okay.
What's your favorite film?
Favorite film? So hard. My favorite film, I think, recently has been The Outsiders, just because it was my favorite book growing up. And I recently saw it, Broadway musical, in the summer, and it was stellar. So The Outsiders.
Nice.
Mhm.
Was it Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze?
Yep.
Yeah,
The whole crew. Yeah.
that's awesome. Who's your favorite actor or actress?
All the Hollywood classics, obviously. But I would say like Margot Robbie for actress, and then I've really been liking Austin Butler's work this year. So,
Cool.
yeah.
What's your favorite sound?
This is very specific. I have an answer for this. So, my very specific answer is it's mid late August. I'm going to paint a picture for you. It's mid late August, and we're outside, and it's like a misty kind of warm morning, and the cicadas are doing their thing. I love the sound of cicadas. It's something
Okay.
very nostalgic for me. It reminds me of childhood, and it's
Yeah,
just it gets me like very in my like creative spirit. I don't know. Something about the cicadas.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. What's your favorite smell?
Vanilla and cinnamon.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, easy. My favorite superpower, I would have the power to heal because I don't know. I just think ever since I was a kid, I was always obsessed with the idea like, oh God, if I could just, you're cut, like, whoosh, done, fixed. So
That's a good one.
I
That's a
really
good
just,
one.
and I've been obsessed with characters who have that ability in film and TV that I watch. And so, yeah, just
Really?
if I could heal people, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone always says, I wish I could fly, or
Yeah.
I wish I could run really fast, or whatever. That's a good one.
Yeah.
See, you're smart. You're a smart one.
Thank you.
What's your favorite curse word?
I don't curse very much, but when I do, it's just your. Can I say it on here?
Of course.
Okay. um, I guess just your classic fuck, but it doesn't happen very often. I'm more of your like, gosh darn it, dang flabbit, holy mackerel kind
Yeah.
of gal. That's
Yeah.
okay.
I definitely try to be. I can relate. I can definitely try to be. I try to stop cursing. I try, but it's very hard. We're from Jersey.
It happens. It happens.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's a very popular one. The F bomb, as
The
we call
F
it.
bomb. Yeah.
So which actress would play you in a movie about your life?
I almost feel unqualified to answer that question, but if I have to choose someone,
That's a good answer.
like I just don't know because I feel like the world perceives you different than you perceive yourself. But I think Meg Donnelly actually has a very similar personality to me, and I think she might do some of my life well in a movie.
Very humble answer. I'm not
Hey.
qualified for that.
I don't know how people see me.
No, it's very humble though. I like it. So who do you look up to?
I'd say my grandma Chupa. So all of my grandparents have passed at this point. But I really looked up to her because kindest person I've ever met, super faithful, rooted in God, and she was just very loving. Like her door was always open, and like would sit and talk to anybody, and just yeah, she taught me really how to just love and accept people the way they are. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a couple people like that who have mentored me, and it's like you try to be like them every day.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
they're just so understanding and inviting, like
Mhm.
you said. Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
like what would they do at this moment,
Yeah,
Yeah.
who's someone you would like to say thank you to?
I mean, the classic answer of my parents, sure, but also my acting coaches and honestly, to the people who were just like kind to me and helped me out when they didn't need to, I would say them. I don't even know half their names, but just
Yeah,
that kind of the people who give off that energy, that's just cool. Yeah,
yeah. We go through life, and so many people help us. It's hard to thank everyone.
for sure.
Yeah. Last question.
Okay.
When you take your last breath and you arrive at the pearly white gates of heaven, what would you like to hear God say to you?
I think just welcome home, you know? Welcome back, welcome home. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with us. Where's the best place for people to find you and follow your journey?
My probably Instagram, I'd say, is the one that I'm mostly on. So my handle is just my name at Nicole Ciuppa. And yeah, I post stuff on there all the time. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun chatting with you. It was very
Yeah,
nice.
definitely. I learned a lot.
Did ya?
Today. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna, I'm
cool.
gonna, I'm gonna be more understanding with people who have food allergies,
Uh,
and I'm gonna stay away from Wendy's for a little bit,
okay.
unless it's a salad.
Right.
And no, but it's been great talking to you, Nicole. Thank you so much for being here and
You
telling your
too.
story. It's very personal, but I think a lot of
Yes.
people can relate to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope it
Um,
helps somebody.
yeah, no, it will. It definitely will. So this has been an Art and Underdogs podcast, and we'll see you next time.